Gather round, ye fans of Gridiron Fray, where the Bears and the Lions clash the wild away. While Vikings skull and Packers fade to gray, in the NFC North stormy, savage play. The offseason roars with rumors bite. Bears to Iowa. What a crazy sight. Lions crown kings in rankings bright. Vikings lament Darnold's Super Bowl night. Caleb Williams shines. Jefferson fumes. Goff stands tall amid the off-season booms. Trades and cap woes, drafts in the glooms. Who'll claim the crown when the new year blooms? So hark to pay Foster Dave's bold call on who will be king. They tell it all. Join the roundup, heed the siren's thrall. For the North's fierce fight, who'll rise or fall? Let the battles begin. I'd like to welcome my friends from the NFC North. Pay from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel, and Foster from Bleachers to Speakers. Pay, how's things in Chicago?
Chicago is getting over yet another restart from the Chicago Bulls. But once we put those feelings away, we can start pointing our attention to pitchers and catchers reporting in the Cactus League. Yes, that's right, Dave. The favorites, and you heard it here first, the eventual pennant-winning Chicago Cubs will be back sooner.
Not the Sox?
Than the who?
The Sox? The White Sox?
Oh, Jerry's other team, Jerry's favorite team. No. They're going to allegedly play something similar to baseball, but I don't think that is where Chicago is giving a lot of their attention this summer. Chicago's got that winning taste in their mouths right now. No diddy. And so it's really only Bears and Cubs right now because the Jerry teams are holding the city down.
Cool. Speaking of holding the city down, Foster, how are things in Detroit?
We're feeling good and optimistic as well about our baseball team. A old friend is returning back for a hopeful playoff World Series run this year. So yeah, the spirits are definitely high in Detroit in general. All the teams are performing well. The Lions trying to get back. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Well, I wanted to start off first off with the Super Bowl. What was your prediction last week, Pay?
I believe I had the Seahawks winning a close game, something under 10-point margin. I was close for about a good, halfway through the third quarter, and then.
Yes, you were. Foster, what did you have last week?
I don't know if we made score predictions or anything.
I know we all talked about the Seahawks winning. I made a score prediction.
And if an option was thrown out there, I'm sure I put one out there, but I can't. It escapes me what my actual prediction was, but I'm not surprised at the outcome.
Okay.
If I recall, I think you said Patriots 19, Lions 53, 1953.
Hey, I'm not mad at that. I was a little off on a few things, but if that was the case, then I'm not mad.
Oh, hey, it is what it is. I predicted 35-17. That's close on the spread, but not on the final score. But anyways, Jackson Blickus, thank you for the super chat. You rock. Kevin O'Connell is the Lars Ulrich of head coaches. Mm-hmm. But we'll get to that. We're going to start off segment one, the Bears Buzz. News came out of Iowa yesterday. They submitted a bill in the Senate to fund a new Bears stadium in the, I think it was the Dubuque, Des Moines, somewhere in that area, right on the Quad City area. Pay, do you like the idea of the Iowa Bears?
I like it better than the Indianimals. There's more GDs in Iowa, so I can deal with that. More than what they got going on in Indiana. But Portage, Indiana, their mayor is trying to attract the Bears' attention. Iowa's trying to get the Bears, as you already stated. The Bears are not for sale, bro. They're not leaving anywhere. Shout out to the homie T-Bass in the comments. I know I've said politics quite often, right? But this is just business. This is just negotiation for negotiating sake. You never take the first option. You never you just the Bears are not giving the Illinois. Illinois was not giving the Bears what they really wanted. So the Bears say, you know what? I'm gonna let you know that I got suitors out here. I'm gonna let you know that I ain't got to come home to ramen noodles. I got somebody out here that's gonna cook for me. I got somebody out here that's gonna do my laundry, or whatever, right? So you better get your act together, or you gonna see me in these Instagram streets with somebody else. Valentine's Day is coming up, and the real news that you really need to be paying attention to is that J.B. Pritzker and them, and the Chicago Bears, Kevin Warren, Mike McCaskey, they're all trying to get there. There's some flowers being bought. There's some chocolates being bought. Just wait. Come this weekend. You're going to see the Bears. You're going to see Illinois with the speaking for Arlington Heights. You're going to see them drop a post on your feed saying we back together, stronger than ever for the next 50 years.
So you think it's Arlington Heights that'll get it and not the lakefront?
Yeah, I think Chicago's a distant third in this race. It's not going to happen. I think Chicago's got a little too much on its plate. They got a little bit too much dip on the chip to really deal with what the Bears got going on right now. The Bears did spend close to $250 million on that hole in the ground in Arlington Heights. That is serious leverage. You got to give them a lot for them to come off that. For them to just say, you know what, that's just some property. We'll flip it sometime down the road. No, they actually want to do what the owners of the Atlanta Braves did down there in Cobb County. They want to do what Jerry Jones did down in Arlington. They want to do what the Cubs did right there on the north side. They want to have their cake and eat it too. They want the stadium and they want all the money surrounding the stadium. They want a $365 day a year business, not just during the season, not just through the 4 months or when the Bears are in the crib. No, we want to get this money over and under the table, every which way. Cash was everything around the Bears, and that's how they want to keep it.
Well, as you and I talked in the pre-show, Kevin Warren, who pushed the Vikings' new stadium, used the same tactic. When the Vikings were threatening to leave if they didn't get a new stadium built from the Hubert Humphrey Metrodome, they used San Antonio as a possible landing spot, and then also Los Angeles, because SoFi was looking for some people to build it. And that's what it took. Minnesota taxpayers bent over, and they said yes.
Valentine's Day is coming up.
So it may work for you. It may not. Now, Big says there isn't a fan base in Iowa to sustain 60,000 fans a weekend, not like Green Bay. I would disagree with you, Biggs. There isn't a whole lot to do in Iowa on the weekends. Yeah, you could watch their college football, but they could gather around quite a bit, bring a whole bunch from Illinois over the river and a whole bunch there local. I bet they could fill it.
Iowa's not that far. And if people make that drive, like I said, there's a lot of GDs out there. People make that drive quite often
like an hour and a half.
over to Iowa. No, it ain't far whatsoever. And then while you brought up the Hawkeyes, all you gotta do is tell them people out there, like, hey, there's gonna be another football team in town. and this one's going to actually put some numbers on the scoreboard. Yes, actual touchdowns. Would you be excited about that? You're going to find a lot of football fans to show up for that, because what they got going on right now, all punts.
Yes. I think it's funny. We'll keep mark one eyeball on the topic until it is eventually resolved or not. And it's interesting. I love poking you with it, and we'll see how it goes.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. Hey, it happens. Besides the stadium, which is viral in Bears land, what are some of the news topics that the Chicago fans are talking about?
Well, it all comes back to the Super Bowl. The season is officially over, and Bears fans are starting to realize certain things. And you know what? As we promote the passing game coordinator, Press Taylor, to become the new offensive coordinator after Declan Doyle absconded and went to Baltimore to run that ship out there. We have now started our offseason prep for how do we make this 2025 season, this window that's been opened by the Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams era. How do we keep that window open as long as possible and actually get it over that finish line? One thing that I want to point out, and maybe Bears fans or NFL fans are unaware, but 2 is the magic number for NFL head coaches. It is super hard for NFL head coaches to reach the Super Bowl in their first season. I mean, you're more than likely taking over a bad squad, right? And the Bears were a bad team. Ben Johnson took over. But many of football's greatest coaches have made a stamp in the year 2. Vince Lombardi, he took over a 110-1 Packers team in 1959 in the championship game in 1960. Don Shula, he did it twice. 2 different times during his coaching career, with Miami Dolphins, took him to the Super Bowl in his second year with them. Baltimore Colts, second year with them, took him to the Super Bowl. And the third year he was with the Dolphins. That was the undefeated year. Barry Switzer, you all remember that. That's recent enough. Second year with the Cowboys, Super Bowls.
I think we're still before Foster's time, but okay.
Tom Flores, you remember that, Dave?
I do.
He won the first of 2 Super Bowls with the Raiders. Joe Gibbs, he won his first of 3 Super Bowls in his second season with Washington. Bill Belichick, his first Super Bowl with the Patriots was second season in New England. I think the last 3, not including this terrible showing from the Patriots on Sunday, but the 3 times the Patriots were in the Super Bowl prior to that, Bill Belichick was the coach, and the opposing coach, each were in their second season. Why do I bring this up? Ben Johnson's in his second season coming up. Bears fans, Bear Nation, Bear Universe, get ready. Start putting that money away. Start getting your ducks in order. The Bears going to L.A. next February.
Interesting.
Nice vacation place.
Yeah. Where it costs you more to play than it does that you win. And for those that don't know, the players were all taxed more than they earned in bonuses. But it is what it is. Got to pay the teachers.
How do you feel about that? Yeah. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Taxes do go to pay for those things that people don't necessarily want to pay for willingly. That's right.
Now, how do I feel about it? I think it's robbery. Literally. If California says, well, if you're in the state a day, you get taxed on whatever you're doing that day. New York's the same. I'm sure Illinois will be, if it isn't already. But California takes it one step further and says, well, if you're in so many days, then we're taking a fraction of your yearly salary. And that's what bumped everybody from paying just 13 point something percent or 14 point something percent when they add in the extra disabled tax to suddenly It's not 14 point something percent of $174,000 or $75,000, the winning bonus. That much, 14% of your whole salary on the season. And that's where people are paying money to California to play. Now, I don't think that's quite legal. And it doesn't make sense to me why you would, tax somebody here. You're going to have to pay more. And the losing team took a bigger chunk because they had less bonus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's right. You're taking somebody else's labor away and having them pay you. It's not that you're just taking their labor. You're taking their labor plus.
You got any thoughts on that, Foster? Because I got some.
You're muted.
Sorry, I got an instruction under me, but you got to pay on Uncle Sam at the end of the day. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Ask Wesley Snipes.
Top of it, yes.
Yeah. That was directed to you, Dave. He's like, hey, you don't think it's legal? Well, I mean, ask Wesley Snipes. Well, that's what happens when you don't.
What
it don't make it doesn't make it
correct. I think it's right.
Right. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Okay. Well, like we hinted on earlier, Dave. Well, you hinted on when we brought this topic up. My official thoughts on this whole story is rich people got to pay their taxes. That's it. Is the jock tax, I guess, run amok, a little out of control? Yeah, I would agree with that. But the thing is, it's applied everywhere. There's no state in the union, not even Puerto Rico, where there's no jock tax. And that, when I say jock tax, I mean entertainers being taxed when they ply their trade within those borders.
There's no state income tax in Texas.
Well, there's no state income tax where I'm at right now, but I still have to file a return when I work here. You know what I'm saying? So,
no, without a doubt.
Every time you go work somewhere new other than your home state, you have to pay. And when you're in your home state, you still got to pay. So,
and we talked about when they go overseas, they have to pay.
There you go, and you still got to pay Uncle Sam when you go overseas. So
it's paying double.
True, you can nail it down to that, but you still got to. There is still a tax on income. There's still an income tax you have to pay. We all know that. We all know the game when we sign up. Entertainers get paid a large fee. Well, you know what? Like I said at the beginning, rich people got to pay their fair share. What I would say to Sam, I would say, hey, this is a very good point. This is a very good time for you to realize, get your agent on the phone, say, hey, you remember that contract I signed where they had outs at after every season? Guess what? It's time to renegotiate. I just won them a Super Bowl, 2 back-to-back 14-win seasons. I'm gonna need a bit higher bonus next time. I need all my coins. So when Uncle Sam come knock on my door, he ain't taking the whole check. I still got something left over. That's the advice I would get to Sam. But for everybody else, I'm going to say teachers, firefighters, garbage man, et cetera, they all need a raise too. And that shouldn't be my responsibility. Those entertainers who get to fly around in private jets and, eat escargot for breakfast and type of food, other foods and other entitlements that I have no idea what, if you ever listen to a Clips album, whatever the hell Pusha T be talking about, all that shit is way too rich for me. They should have to pay them taxes. I don't want to do with it. So jock tax, it's going to become a small violin for me. I can't do it.
Well, we'll find out. Let's see if the players revolt or whatever next year when it's in LA. But hey, now the goal of every player is to play in the Super Bowl. So I don't think it comes to their mind, but hopefully their agent and money person, it comes to their mind, but we'll see. So, but speaking of the Super Bowl, how'd you watch it, Foster?
At my house.
Did you watch it on cable? Did you watch it streaming? Did it over the air? How'd you watch it?
I streamed it, allegedly.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was on Hulu. It was on
Right. Of course.
Or no, I don't know if it was on Hulu, but it was on. Let's see, NFL Plus for streaming.
It was on. Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was
Streaming
on
NFL Plus.
Yeah, it was on NBC Peacock. It was on. I think that would be it for the Super Bowl. But do you know that the lag time difference is quite a big difference in how you watch it?
In real life or whatever?
Yeah. All right. The zero lag times being at the game, obviously.
Of course.
But let me bring it up.
Yeah, I'm curious because I never really think about it, but
Well, when I talk with fans, they're wondering, well, Dave, why are you ahead? Or I'm wondering, why am I 2 plays behind? And it all comes down to how you view it. Over the air, free TV, DTV, whatever you want to call it, used to be the rabbit ears on top of the TV set, right? And you'd put the foil on it and a hanger and have a kid stand up there and hold their arm this way to get the deal in. Well, it's now gone to the digital TV broadcast 10, 20 years ago. And all you need is a little flat panel antenna versus the big radio antenna that you had to put on outside your house if you didn't use the rabbit ears. That's the fastest. It's only got a 17 to 19 second latency over what's happening on the field. And that gives it enough time for the FCC and everybody, the networks, to bleep out something that shouldn't be shown that'll get them an FCC fine. And I'm sure you all remember, and there's a streaker, right?
That's not where my mind went.
Me either.
But
Miss Jackson, come on.
There was Miss Jackson too.
Exactly.
But they didn't. You notice they didn't show the streaker. The network didn't. And there's plenty of time and from what I gather, there's a couple of great tackles because there's actually 2 of them. The first guy came down and got immediately tackled, and the second guy was the one that ran off down the field.
Statue of Liberty play.
He was moving.
And but they both and the second one got tackled by one of the wide receivers, if I remember correctly. Had enough of it. He took him down. Yanked him down by his pants.
He's a narc.
We don't see that. That's the major delay. Anytime you got to move a signal from someplace to someplace to someplace, it takes time. Well, cable and TV has about a 30-second to 45-second delay on it. And then the slowest ones are the streaming services. Now, it could be as low as 26 seconds in the best case to over a minute to like 78 seconds, depending on the platform. Now, for this particular Super Bowl, over the air was 19 seconds. Cable was 38 seconds. Peacock was the best streamer at 48 seconds. But if you had YouTube and Hulu Live and TV, it was at 53. And if you're still using DirecTV stream, it was 60. And NFL Plus was over a minute. So next time when you're watching, like I've told my friends, if it's a local broadcast, I'm watching over the air. So I have the least amount of lag. And then from there, it's Sunday Ticket or NFL Plus for me.
I wonder what the lag is if you watch the game on a betting app.
I don't know. With betting in there, it's a good question. Is it the live over-the-air TV you're getting? So you're getting that 19 seconds?
It's a food for thought, because on DraftKings, I don't know what type of service anybody else uses, but DraftKings, if you place a bet, no matter what size on a game, you can watch the NFL. You can watch that game that you just bet on. And it's a lot faster than what you got on the TV right in front of you. So I know I've tried to make bets while watching the game on the TV, and the lines are already a step ahead of what I'm already thinking about. So, I wonder how fast they get the information, because either that or everything's rigged. But but go on, Dave.
I've found it fascinating. That's why I asked you, how'd you watch it?
Yeah, I was watching it on
we
ABC.
all pay a ton of money every year to watch all the games.
I'm so happy football season is over, Dave, because I saved some money.
Dang.
But hey, it is what it is. That's with the Super Bowl. Now that we're going into the offseason, besides the combine starting up here on the 23rd, what do you guys watch during the offseason besides football? Now, we're all going to track the combine and then the free agency and then the draft and more free agency. What do you guys watch during the summer? Now, you guys are sports guys, so you're watching basketball and you're watching baseball. Is there anything else you guys watch?
Well, I did start binging some old stuff that I had. And it's been a while since I haven't watched it. There's Better Call Saul. I'm on the last 3 episodes of that. I recommend that show for anybody that likes premiere television. If you're an HBO junkie, or if you're anybody that likes prestige television, Better Call Saul will hit for you. I did before that. I ran through. Damn, I can't think of the name of The Last of Us. That another zombie show. I was thinking like, I hated The Walking Dead. I'm not gonna like this. No, that was really good. I ran through that an entire weekend. If you're into the zombies thing, you might enjoy that. If you're into video games, it's adapted from a video game, a very popular video game. You might like that as well. But other than that, Dave, sports, especially during the football season, it takes up so much of your time and money. But when football season is over, you get a little chance to sit back and catch up on some other stuff, smell the roses, touch the grass, watch some other type of TV. The 2026 is going to be a big year for non-sports content, so you got to get it while you can.
Foster, you watch anything else?
Oh, I mean, when I'm not watching the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Network or Vikings First and Skol, I'm probably watching some other sports content. I'm not a big Netflix guy, not a big documentary guy, really.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, see, I used to watch NASCAR. I got into NASCAR via NASCAR Fantasy. And I watched it a good decade and a half playing. Yeah.
I mean,
it's a blast.
I don't see why there wouldn't be. Yeah.
It's a blast.
I'm finna lose some money.
That I stopped probably 5 or a little bit more years ago watching that because it got boring in it. But this year I'm going to start watching F1. F1 changed the rules. They're now, they changed the rules for the cars. Everything's changed. It's all new. So, and they've got 6 teams that are competing, 6 builders, and 2 of them are new, Audi and Cadillac. And it's the first time Cadillac's been involved in, or a U.S. company's been involved in forever, if at all, in F1. Now, McLaren's been involved, but I mean, a name brand car company. And I'm going to watch it. I got Apple TV, and it's going to be free on it, so why not?
I did see the was there a Cadillac commercial? There was a Cadillac commercial during the Super Bowl, wasn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did make mention of that while I was in and out of nap, so maybe I thought I dreamt it, but I did notice that there was they have a rollout going on for this Cadillac in F1. Mm-hmm. I saw a model. They have a model of their car not too far from me. So I saw it. I'm like, I didn't know Cadillac had a race car now. But hey, I'm going to watch
now. And
I went to a NASCAR race last summer, and I know it's not F1, but that was the first one I ever watched, and it was fun as hell. I was like, I could get into this.
Going to the
Car
races
crash.
is
I like it.
different than just watching the races. Yes.
Right.
You feel the energy, the cars going by at 200 plus miles an hour. It's awesome.
Yeah,
But
my pops is he's a big car guy, and we grew up going to the racetrack. There's a racetrack in Brooklyn, Michigan. I was never a big fan of the noise though. It's very, very loud. Um, but yeah, I definitely grew up on Sundays with because the races are on Sunday. So during the summertime, that's what was normally on the TV if it wasn't like golf or something. So actually, there's a Bubba Wallace poster. It's not on my wall yet, but it's not signed by Bubba Wallace. I don't know who it's signed by, but my pops gave it to me.
Bubbles is what one of my NASCAR groups calls him.
Oh, they call him Bubbles.
Hey, it is what it is. But anyways, back to
He's
football.
Mike.
It's time to take a quick break, and we'll get back with Foster on what's happening in Detroit right after these messages from our sponsors. Foster, we went through the news in Chicago. What is the news in Detroit?
I think the hottest topic right now is whether or not we will trade for Max Crosby. Obviously, he has some ties to Michigan. He went to Eastern Michigan, and he's from Lapeer, Michigan. I think Pat McAfee made a report that he has already talked to Tom Brady and said that he won't play any more games with the Raiders, which think he's already come out and denounced. But yeah, I mean, I think that if there was any chance that it could happen, that's something that we should definitely look into. Max has already come out and said if there was ever a team that he would like to be traded to, it would be Detroit. And we obviously see the importance of defense and a good pass rush. I mean, I think the Seahawks had 6 sacks in that game, and if there was any way that we could make that happen, I think that could be a big move to kind of, move the needle. I think that the speculation is that the trade would be something similar to the Parsons trade, which was, I think, 2 first-round picks and a pretty high impact player. First round picks are very important, and we haven't made any made any big moves since the Matthew Stafford thing. But at some point you got to push all the chips into the table and make that move that makes you a bona fide Super Bowl team. So a lot of speculation, and the likelihood of it happening is very small, but it's something to talk about in February, I guess.
Well, speaking of something to talk about, ESPN had their power rankings come out for next year. And who do they have winning the division?
They have us winning the division.
Yes,
they should.
do.
Bounce back, huh? And where are the Packers?
That I don't know. Nor do I know where. All I saw was that they have Detroit winning, and I'd have to look at the link. But
so we are 7th on there. Packers are 10th. So the Packers are 1 spot ahead of Chicago.
Throw the whole list away. Throw it away.
And they have the Vikings where? 31?
Where are they on this thing? Oh, 23.
Okay.
Offseason in 3 words: QB and leadership. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. I mean, if the Lions and Bears would have at least split, there would have been an argument to be made. But when Detroit did win both games pretty handedly, certainly the first one.
Handedly, both games.
The first one, I said the first one. The second one, it was I think it was a 1-score game. The second one.
Yes, you had a walk-off field goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think we were shutting you out going into the third quarter or something like that.
60 minutes.
Might have been the fourth quarter.
60 minutes.
All four of our teams are above the cap. All four should.
You mean below?
No, as in
No, we're
we've
over
got
cap.
to get under the cap. All four are over, and it varies from like 3-point-something million to we're the highest at like 45 million. But they should all be relatively easy to get under. Simple cut, restructures, whatever. I'm curious now, if you went for that trade, you're going to need to, that's something you're going to have to plan for. All four teams are going to have to plan for it, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I think Crosby makes $30 million.
He's going to be up there. He's one of the big guys.
Yeah, I believe he was the highest until Miles jumped him, right? I think he's around at 30.
33 is the annual value. He signed a 3-year, 106.
Brian says if Max can impact like Micah Parsons, yes, trade 2 first-rounders.
I think
He's a
that
little
should
older
be the going
than
rate.
I think Mike is 26 and he's 29, so that should mean something. And he's coming off a season-ending injury, so
Yeah, but it's still for an edge rusher.
He's still in the prime of his career.
Yeah, that's still prime. He's not a power guy, known as pure power. They decline a little bit more quickly, but he's speed and all that, and they last longer. Just look at Daniil Hunter. But interesting. Any more news out of Detroit? What are you guys talking about?
Oh man,
O-line?
yeah. If there's one thing that I took from if there's one thing that I took from the game outside of the defensive aspect is the importance of protection. Both those teams drafted a offensive lineman in the first round, Will Campbell, and then Zabel also went in the first round. So that they mirrored that philosophy going into the season. So that makes it very apparent to me what direction we need to be going in because when you see a guy like Sam Darnold win the Super Bowl, it should give Lions fans hope that, hey, it's not Michael Vick out there. If you protect him, he can make some things happen. He's got a comparable, wide receiver target in Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jameson Williams. I mean, they're both kind of behind, JSN right now, but they also have, a balanced running attack, Kenneth Walker, who we kind of actually talked about how he could possibly, I think we did the over under on a touchdown. And, so we kind of let it be known that Kenneth Walker could he got called back, right?
Yeah, he got called back. I wish he did, but hey, even though I said I said it's all going to be JSN.
Yeah, we all went and he got hurt and barely played the second half. So, but yeah,
hey, it is. But I heard or I read you guys are in for possibly getting Lindenbaum, the center.
Yeah, it's going to cost us if we go that route.
It will us if we go that route as well. Now, there's another team in the division, the Green Bay.
Unfortunately, dumpsters.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Waste management.
Mm-hmm. All right, now on to the Minnesota Vikings. We had to mention Green Bay, folks. It is an NFC North show. Just because there isn't a Green Bay Packers podcaster willing to join us, and we'll treat you right. We'll pick on you as we pick on each other. But no, there isn't one brave enough. If you know somebody that is, send him to Fans First Sports Network. We'll see if he's good enough, just like their team, or if they turn moldy and piss down their legs at the wrong time. We'll find
like their team.
Like their team. All right. Now on to the Vikings vibe. As you can see in the chat, Vikings fans are hurting. Why? Grandizer, what happened to your Packers guy? He got fired. He got busted for doing substances he shouldn't have. So, allegedly, of course. Now, the Vikings, after watching Sam Darnold, the quarterback they let get away, win the Super Bowl, the fan base is taking it hard as well. They should. Hey, so now the question is, did they make the right choice at the time? And I think most fans believe they did. Now, hindsight's 2020, and obviously they didn't. But hey, we'll move on. Now the biggest question is, what do we do to fix it? How do we get back into the playoff race? We just missed it by a game this last year. How do we get back? Do we stick with J.J. McCarthy? Do we go out and try to get somebody like Joe Burrow, who reported friend says he's not interested in coming to Minnesota? Or do we go for somebody else at quarterback?
Possibly
and
9. Possibly 9.
Well, 9. 9's on the team right now and is obviously the starter right now. But he had historically bad results last season. Now, in the last 4 games, he improved, but he's only played 10 games from 2 full seasons. This year, coming up in 2026, it's a big, important year for him and the Vikings, for that matter, because it'll be year 3. What they're going to have to evaluate what sort of asset they have at the end of year 3. Do they want to give him the 5th-year option? Has he developed enough? Has he become a top QB? And they want to give him that? Or do they say nah? And they get hamstrung like the Packers did with Jordan Love. Because if you remember there, Jordan Love sat for 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And then he played, and in the first half of the season, it was horrible. Second half of the season, he stepped up. Sort of sounds like J.J. McCarthy last year, minus the injuries. And then they were stuck, and they had to give him a $50 million contract, which, of course, is football nowadays. And you get in that $40 million range, and you're mid-tier. But Grandizer says, thanks. He'll let me know if there's any Packers creators. Okay. No problem, Grandizer. You know how to get hold of me.
He also said they're not knowledgeable enough, and truer words were never spoken or typed in this instance.
It's going to be interesting because Kevin O'Connell, KOC, our head coach, is now in a position, as we discussed last week, with Kwesi Adofo-Mensah's firing, of having the most power going into the draft. Not that we're going to draft a quarterback. He's going to have the most power over personnel. I joked that it's a triangle of authority rebuild because that was in our past, 2003, and where the head coach has the most power over personnel. So he's got to make sure he makes the correct choice at quarterback. If it's continuing with J.J. McCarthy, hoping he makes a huge leap in the offseason, gets rid of his mechanical issues, gets rid of his overhypeness, his 9 persona, all the rest, and just takes the good things from last season and builds on them, we'll be fine. If he does not do that and he goes the trade route, some of the names are the acquisition route of quarterback, and they'll bring in some sort of vet to compete or at least back him up. Some of the names that are floating around there are Derek Carr. His manager said he's willing to come out of retirement this week. And that would be an interesting one. He's an older guy. and put in the right system, throwing the good wide receivers, and Minnesota has a very good wide receivers, that could make sense. We could win some games.
Hey, you don't seem convinced by that. That's not a good one.
I think we've seen all we need to see out of Derek Carr. Now, I know this is just to light a fire underneath Nine's ass, but I don't think if this is what the plan is, and I'm not saying that you're hypothesizing that this is the best plan of action for the
I'm not.
Vikings, Dave.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not. I'm just saying this is what's out there.
If that's what's out there, I think you should just.
That's the old vet route. And that's one of the three of them.
Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers looks like he's going back to Pittsburgh if he decides to play. Yes. So hey, it is. There's Geno Smith is another older guy that could come in and be the elder mentor to JJ.
That's not a bad.
And of course, there's
Terrible year.
already been announced that he's going to be released. Kirk Cousins.
There you go.
I knew you guys would like that. But I hope not. I hope not. I hope not.
You gotta pay to get him in the door. You know he not walking in no doors without a bag of cash already on the table for him.
Well, if they cut him, they could do it like Denver did. What's his name? The short little dude that went to Pittsburgh.
Russell.
Yes.
The short little dude.
Well, I'm getting to a short little dude. But yes, like Russell, where the Falcons cover all his salary except for the vet minimum. So that's possible. Those are the three vet types. Then there's the possible trade for Mac Jones. And most people think Mac Jones, meh. But Mac Jones, in his games he played last year, he had some pretty damn good stats.
He kept them afloat.
Uh-huh.
I don't think you would that's the one you don't want to do. You don't want to do that one, Dave, because I think Mac Jones could win that job.
Well,
he's going to be too good.
All right. Well, and we're getting to the two guys that could start, and that'd be Mac Jones. Because if you bring Mac Jones is going to start over J.J. McCarthy. Mm-hmm. Because you traded for him. You said, this is it. Yes, you're going to do that.
Spend some value on him, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Two Evil says, just watch. Vikings will get Zach Wilson. Or they could either wait for the Cardinals to release or trade for Kyler Murray. It's another big one.
Another little guy.
Well, that's the other little guy I was getting to. Right. Kyler Murray's really little, but he's very, very accurate throwing the football, which is amazing because he has to run around to see around his lineman because he can't see over him. But,
tippy toes.
Mm-hmm. But he's like the fifth most accurate passer. He's accurate. And we know he can run.
Mm-hmm.
And he's supposedly not wanted in Arizona anymore. So, and it matters on the trade of those two, or especially with Kyler Murray, then wondered if they'd trade JJ as part of the package. JJ would do well in Arizona, most likely. You're getting what, Mike LaFleur is the new head coach?
If you don't do well with KOC,
Two Evil says we should force Andrew Luck out of the retirement.
you got to negotiate with his horse if you want to get him to come with you.
But you can see why Vikings fans, after watching Sam Darnold win the Super Bowl and having J.J. McCarthy only play 10 games out of 17 last season, are hurting. And we're used to hurting. We're used to being disrespected and having all the bad luck. We pride ourselves on it. Us in Buffalo. And yet, there's a bunch that are just like, I'm dead. I have no more feelings. But who do you think will be the next quarterback starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings in 2026.
It's interesting, Dave. I don't know who I think will be. Well, this is what I think. J.J. McCarthy is going to be the quarterback for the Vikings. That much I am 92% on. I'm 92% that J.J. McCarthy is going to exit training camp as QB1 because any other decision to put another quarterback under center, well, they don't do under center too much, but any other quarterback that exits training camp, if J.J. McCarthy doesn't win that job, KOC is dead man walking.
And that's where it puts all the pressure. All the pressure's on KOC this year. He's going to have power over the roster, and he's got power to decide what direction he goes with quarterback. He has not won a Super Bowl. He has not won a playoff game. He has a great record, but he hasn't won a playoff game. And I know the fans are frustrated, and the owners will probably get frustrated if he goes out there and absolutely throws a mediocre season, wasting a top-end defense and another year of Justin Jefferson's career.
Yeah. That's why I think that the owners, they're going to step in and say, you know what? It's about hook or crook. If JJ we already have JJ. You know, after next season, we have to decide on this 5th-year option, and we can start negotiating an extension, right? So if JJ isn't the guy, okay, we're going to get this draft pick back. We're going to get it back in blood. JJ, go out there and do that thing you do. Stack the losses. Go get us these L's, and KOC, I'm gonna give you these boxes so you can start packing it up. We're gonna do this whole thing all over again. It makes no sense to even play with bringing in somebody else and then continuing with KOC after you'd already botched that pick you had with JJ. Just go ahead and do it all over.
Mm-hmm. Chad corrected me. KOC has won the Super Bowl. It's just not with the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Nor
is that draft pick not on Kwesi?
Well, Kwesi's gone.
Kwesi's gone.
Right, but yeah.
But
I think it would be in line with the fact that he messed for them to move on from JJ and just say that kind of goes in the Kwesi box.
Kevin O'Connell was the one that weighed in on selecting him.
Oh, okay.
He was put in charge of finding the next quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting. Too Evil says he will praise McCarthy if he brings us 15 losses. If he brings us 15 losses, we're going to have a whole new head coach next in 2027. Too Evil. And the first round draft pick in one of the heaviest QB loaded drafts in a while.
And that's exactly why you got it. JJ is going to win that job. You're going to get a quarterback by hook or crook. Either JJ's the guy or JJ's going to bring you the guy. That's why he's getting it.
Now, it's if KOC decides to go with Murray or even Burrow or somebody like that, he better get it right. He better get it right.
Mm.
Everybody can understand JJ being young, and he is young, just turned 23, and needing time to develop. They just watched Sam Darnold win his first Super Bowl after being considered a bust.
It's a crazy turnaround of events.
Mm-hmm. And it's Kevin O'Connell says teams give up way too early on quarterbacks before quarterbacks give up on teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's his quote.
Right in the fire. So,
So it's going to be interesting. We're going to find out. Chad says Flores to head coach. We'll see about that too, if he's the one that replaces him. But the Wilfs have done that before too. They replaced Brad Childress.
Forgot about Brad Childress.
With our defensive coordinator at the time, Tony Dungy.
Mm-hmm.
And then they fired Tony Dungy a couple seasons later. Brought in Mike Zimmer. Because Tony Dungy was too soft. Too much of a player's coach. They go hard, soft, hard, soft, hard, soft.
Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Blue pill would help. Anyways, With that, is there any last words you guys have for today?
Great show. All I say is make sure you during the off season, everybody watching, thanks for pulling up again on another Wednesday. But while you're finding other content to watch, do not skip out on Bleachers and Speakers. As of course, Vikings First and Skull. They were never skimp on giving you something great to watch during the I don't want to call it dog days of off season, but during the football off season, you get your football fix. You know, you got it in your veins already. Come get a fix, and those are two great channels to get that from.
Mm-hmm. What have you got coming up next on the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel?
We are talking off-season desires. Foster brought up Max Crosby. That is a name that's been bantied about in these Bear streets as well. We're talking on an episode that's going to drop tomorrow. We do have our Super Bowl takes and some other stadium news, our takes on that, as well as the trenches. That is a sneak preview. That is the thing that I noticed from the last two Super Bowls, and things that win or lose Super Bowls. So how can the Bears fortify those trenches this offseason to get us one step closer to bring it back the Lombardi to Chicago?
I'll look forward to watching that one. Hopefully I can steal some stuff. Foster, where can they find you, and what have you got coming up next?
They can find me on Bleachers to Speakers. We should be starting our draft coverage real soon. You will also find coverage of the Pistons as we get closer to the playoffs. We're heading into the All-Star game portion of the season. We got 2 representatives. And my last words, condolences to the Scroggins family. Tracy Scroggins passed away earlier this week. He was a lifelong Detroit Lions player. He played for us defensive end for 10 years, and he's 3rd all time in sacks. This is kind of the before Foster era a little bit, but yeah, definitely a Lions legend.
Cool. Well, at Vikings First and Skull, I'm working on the latest Skull shirts. We got 3 more corners. Amari Harvey, Brandon Sissay, and Chris Johnson are coming out next. They should be out probably tomorrow sometime for our members, and then later for everybody else. And we have tomorrow night the Real Forno show. And I don't know what Tyler plans on talking about this Thursday, but I'm sure it'll be interesting as well. And then, of course, on Sunday, now at 4:00, our off-season time, we get to sleep in. We'll be 2 old bloggers, and we're going to be bringing up this quarterback situation in depth. So catch us there on Vikings First and Skull. What do we say in Chicago there, Pay?
Bear down, Dave.
Bear down. Not
the Bears.
Foster, what do we say in Detroit? Fun pride? And of course, in Packerland, we don't say anything. Minnesota, we say Skull Vikings. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and rate us on your favorite podcast aggregator. Thank you for listening to this NFC North group effort on the Fans First Sports Network. This has been a Frustrated Chicago Sports Fans, Bleachers to Speakers, Vikings First and Skull, and of course, the Fans First Sports Network production. Thank you for listening.